Syracuse University organizes 30 LGBT events in a single month. Faculty at Texas Tech try to block a former Trump spokeswoman, and BYU students protest religious protections. I'm Wyatt Eichholz, and you're watching Campus Countdown. For story number 3, Title IX exemptions for religious schools were protested at Brigham Young University. Two organizations, the Black Menaces and the Religious Exemptions Accountability Project, called for a protest against religious universities that exercise religious exemptions to Title IX. One of the protests took place last week at Brigham Young University, a private school which holds to the teachings of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and is a beneficiary of the Title IX exceptions. The protesters at BYU attacked the school's honor code and related policies which ban LGBT-focused groups on campus, saying that the religious exemptions fuel discrimination. Photos obtained by Campus Reform show students displaying slogans including "God is gay" and "Queer love is God's love." The Black Menaces told Campus Reform that while they recognize an inalienable right to religious freedom, private institutions should not be allowed to operate according to their religious principles in ways that discriminate against any group of people. But leftist bias on campus isn't just limited to the student body. For the next story, we turn to Campus Reform correspondent Alyssa Patterson.
Thanks, Wyatt. In response to a recent Texas Young Conservatives event featuring Kaylee McNaney, professors at Texas Tech University took to their social media accounts to encourage students to sabotage the event. McNaney is former press secretary to the Trump administration and is currently known for her work as a political commentator and author. Allie Duffy, a theater professor at Texas Tech, shared on her Facebook, quote, "It would be a real shame if we all registered for a free event ticket and then not be able to go," end quote. She also included a screenshot of the event description in her post. In addition, an assistant librarian at the university shared on her social media saying, quote, "Registering as many times as I can while drinking wine sounds like a perfect way to spend my Friday evening," end quote. To add fuel to the fire, an assistant professor, Randy Scolari, shared on social media encouraging students to attend Beto O'Rourke's upcoming speaking event on campus. A professor from Virginia Commonwealth University even chimed in on the Facebook thread claiming he bought a ticket despite being 1,500 miles away. The posts have since been deleted from the professor's account. However, screenshots were obtained by Campus Reform. Kenzie Gardner, chairman of the Texas Young Conservatives, also coordinator of the event, told Campus Reform, "I hope those who attend our event can come to understand Kaylee McNaney's unique career experience and how important free speech is, particularly in our divisive political climate."
Thanks, Alyssa. To round out this week with story number 1, Syracuse plans over 30 events to celebrate LGBTQ+ History Month. In celebration of LGBTQ History Month this October, not to be confused with Pride Month in June, the Syracuse University LGBTQ+ Resource Center planned over 30 social and educational events celebrating the history, culture, and contributions of LGBTQAI+ communities. Events on the schedule included a talk by Jacob Tobiah, author of Sissy, A Coming of Gender Story, and a keynote from MSNBC contributor Paulo Ramos. Syracuse also made plans to host a queer trivia night and a Halloween ball. At least one student criticized the events as a useless waste of tuition money to fund brainwashing events. The student told Campus Reform that he hopes for schools to return to educating our young adults instead of promoting LGBTQ programming. But that wraps up this week's countdown for the episode, which means it's now time for the woke tweet of the week. This time we have an update from Vanderbilt University, now saying that they will stop gender transition surgeries on minors. Here's the tweet from Daily Wire commentator Matt Walsh. Huge news. Following our report, Vanderbilt has agreed to pause all gender transition surgeries on minors. The fight is far from over, but this will save children from mutilation and abuse. An incredibly important victory, praise God. Now, in keeping with the themes of his recent documentary, What is a Woman?, Matt Walsh published a series of tweets exposing the Vanderbilt University Medical Center's practices related to its pediatric transgender clinic. Following that expose, Tennessee State Representative Jason Zachary sent a letter along with a coalition of other lawmakers calling on the cessation of transition surgeries on minors. In response, the VUMS agreed to halt minor transitions and further agreed to comply with any legislation that might be put into effect as a result of this controversy. Walsh's expose on Twitter appeared to show that the VUMS was motivated to start performing minor transition surgeries, at least in part because they were a highly lucrative procedure, with one doctor noting that the procedure was a, quote, big moneymaker, unquote. The materials that Walsh published also implied that those who objected to these practices would face negative repercussions. In response to the statement by the VUMS, Walsh tweeted, "They've already conceded the legislative fight. This win is even bigger than we thought." That's all for this week's edition of Campus Countdown. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. To stay up to date on more leftist bias on campus, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Campus Reform. I'm Wyatt Eichholz. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to turn in next week to Campus Countdown.